Chris Pine's Captain Kirk held an impressive record. Then Star Trek Into Darkness immediately broke it. When Chris Pine first stepped onto the bridge of the USS Enterprise in J.J. Abrams' 2009 Star Trek reboot, he inherited more than just the iconic captain's uniform. He inherited a legacy, a mixture of heroic bravado, impulsive decision-making, and that inexplicable ability to survive the most impossible situations. Pine's Kirk quickly became a record holder in his own right. By the time the Enterprise crew faced new threats in Star Trek Into Darkness 2013, however, it seemed the rules that defined his daring feats had suddenly shifted, and not in a flattering way. From the very first film, Pine's Kirk established himself as a captain who could defy logic, gravity, and, occasionally, Starfleet protocol, all without losing his swagger. Take, for example, the first film's climactic sequence. Kirk pilots a makeshift escape pod-like craft to intercept Nero's ship, performing maneuvers that would make even seasoned Starfleet officers break into a cold sweat. Not only does he survive, but he also succeeds in a mission that, on paper, seemed destined for failure. It was bold, brash, and undeniably Kirk, a record-setting moment in the sense that he achieved the impossible with his trademark mix of luck and instinct. By the end of the 2009 film, Captain Kirk's record was clear: highest survival odds in hostile scenarios, fastest decision-making under pressure, and an uncanny ability to inspire loyalty in his crew, even when his judgment was questionable. He was the embodiment of the Starfleet ideal filtered through a modern, high-octane lens. Each action, from his spontaneous jump onto Nero's ship to his defiance of Spock's logical cautions, built a narrative of a man who could bend the rules of probability and still emerge victorious. Enter Star Trek Into Darkness, and the record books suddenly took a turn. Within the first act of the film, Kirk's carefully constructed reputation for calculated risk-taking is tested, and in some ways, undone. While the stakes are higher, the threats deadlier, the story seems intent on challenging the very notion of Kirk as a record-holding captain. In Into Darkness, we see Kirk in moments of recklessness that stretch believability beyond even the hyper-stylized norms of the first movie. He punches first, questions authority less effectively, and makes decisions that, rather than reinforcing his heroic image, highlight how far he has drifted from the calculated risk-taker we initially met. Consider the sequence where Kirk and his team must face John Harrison. In a classic reversal, Kirk's bold actions don't automatically lead to success. Instead, they create additional complications, forcing others to compensate for his impulsivity. The film effectively breaks the unspoken record he held, the idea that Kirk's audacity always equaled triumph. While he still possesses charm and charisma, the aura of invincibility is chipped away, replaced by a sense that even Starfleet's most daring captain can falter spectacularly. This shift in Kirk's record is fascinating because it mirrors a broader storytelling evolution in the rebooted Star Trek universe. The first film presented a universe in which the classic virtues of heroism, courage, loyalty, ingenuity could still produce near miraculous outcomes, even against overwhelming odds. Into Darkness, however, opted for a darker, more morally complex world, where heroic impulses carry consequences and luck is less of a given. By breaking Kirk's record, the film implicitly acknowledges that even legends have limits, a narrative choice that simultaneously humanizes and destabilizes one of cinema's most enduring icons. Critics and fans alike were quick to notice the difference. Some argued that the abrupt dismantling of Kirk's record undermined the character development established in the first film, while others praised it for introducing stakes and realism that had been glossed over previously. The debate, in a way, reflects the tension inherent in rebooting a legacy franchise. How do you honor the original mythos while keeping the story unpredictable and compelling? By breaking Kirk's record, Into Darkness deliberately shook up expectations, reminding audiences that even the most heroic figures cannot coast indefinitely on past victories. Yet, paradoxically, this breaking of records doesn't make Kirk weaker. It makes him more relatable. In highlighting his fallibility, the film reframes his successes as hard-won achievements rather than inevitabilities. Surviving impossible scenarios, outsmarting enemies, and leading his crew are no longer guaranteed outcomes, but the results of determination, ingenuity, and occasional serendipity. The record may have been broken, but the essence of Kirk, the resourceful, daring, sometimes impulsive captain, remains intact, only now with layers that reflect the messy reality of leadership. Ultimately, Chris Pine's Captain Kirk is a study in evolution. He begins as a near mythical figure, holding records for bravery and ingenuity. Star Trek Into Darkness shatters those records in spectacular fashion, not to diminish him, but to challenge him and audiences to see the human cost of heroism. The irony is delicious. The very act of breaking Kirk's record is what keeps him memorable, relevant, and exciting. In a franchise defined by the impossible, sometimes the boldest act isn't surviving, it's surviving